Hello Northwest, I'm Glenn Higginbotham, and this is the Inter-Reading edition of the NHS TV Sports Show. Today we take an inside look at just how important reading is for both students and student athletes. We'll highlight some books our own coaches and students enjoyed, explain how you can arrange your schedule to find time to read, and look at the importance of student athletes reading. We'll start off the show with some statistics. The NCAA has compiled a chart that shows the probability of high school athletes competing in college athletics. According to the chart, only 5.77% of high school athletes will make it to college for athletics, including numbers as low as 3% for boys basketball. What is the lesson? Not only must you be in the tops of your sport, but you also need to be a good student because your grades and test scores are vital for your chances of landing a scholarship. Now we bring you some coach and student stories. Here's Cindy Burns.
From the softball fields to the volleyball courts, reaching record-breaking heights. What all is involved in being an athlete?
You have to have a lot of dedication and conviction. I mean, you can't show up 2-3 times at practice or 2-3 times a week and expect to get better. You have to show up all the time and give 110% all the time.
They know that every day they're pushing each other to work hard and be the best they can be on the team.
Athletes work very hard, but some of them use their free time wisely and choose to enjoy reading books.
I think my favorite book has to be Rainbow Six by Tom Clancy.
My favorite book series called the House of Night series by Kirsten the PC Cast.
Championship Team Building, it's by Jeff Jansen.
My favorite book in the past couple of years would have to be Divergent.
Myths to Live By Joseph Campbell.
It's kind of like a romance book with vampires and stuff. It has some action in it.
This one right now is really good about cohesive team and committed to a single goal and moving forward.
The book, even though it's a fast read, it's something that could be picked up by an avid reader or a reader that doesn't read very often because of all of the action and the fact that the main characters have the ability to be multifaceted and multi-talented. They don't have to have one focus and there's not just one role or one way they should live. They kind of embrace the fact that they have flaws and strengths.
It just talks a little bit about the different mythologies and belief systems over the history of the world and kind of focuses in on some ones that are common between different religions, between different belief systems.
With endless hours of practice, grading, and schoolwork, how do coaches and student athletes find time to read?
Turn off the TV.
I read a lot at night before I go to bed and on the weekends.
I can't go to sleep before at least reading a chapter from a book.
You know, whenever I get ready for bed, it's always nice to turn on the light and read for a little bit before I go to bed.
It takes me a while to fall asleep, so I'll just sit there and read, and it's just something to kind of get my mind off everything.
With such a busy schedule, why do students and coaches find it so important to read?
Reading is important for the student athlete because it shows us stories that we can play in our mind and it allows us to go to new places.
You know, I think it's kind of about that safety net. They can read and learn from the characters in the novels and make informed decisions and make mistakes in a safe environment without actually living it. They learn through a character's life.
Students are people too. One of the major things that you need to be able to do in this world is think and communicate. And reading is a fantastic pathway toward both of those.
I think it's important as students or as athletes to constantly try to be better. And when you're reading fiction or nonfiction, you're learning about yourself or about new things. And I think it's just an important part of self-growth. And as an educator, if we're not reading and staying up to date with new ways to motivate kids, then we're not doing them justice. So I think that kids and students and athletes can read and become better students and become better athletes. They can read other books and other sports to learn more about their sport. And I think the mental part is good for everybody, whether you're in the classroom or on the field.
There you have it, Texans. Find time, pick up a book, and keep reading. For NHS TV, I'm Sydney Burns. Hey Texans, you just heard from some of our own coaches and student athletes about what their favorite books are, but if none of those interested you, don't worry, we have a few sports-themed book trailers that may interest you. Billy Beane made a winning team out of a losing one using sabermetrics, the art of measuring baseball players' ability using advanced statistics. The movie stars Brad Pitt as the rough-around-the-edge ball player turned manager, and the book takes you on a journey through Beane's career, but also lights upon the early careers of luminaries like Miguel Tejada and the Giambi brothers.
The problem we're trying to solve is that there are rich teams and there are poor teams. Then there's 50 feet of crap. And then there's us. It's an unfair game.
The book that rocked the NFL with a stunning PBS documentary to match, League of Denial takes on the most pervasive problem in the NFL today: traumatic brain injuries, concussions, and the great lengths the NFL has gone towards deceit. Perhaps the definitive examination of the machine that produces tiny girls who achieve remarkable feats of athleticism both on the ice and on the balance beam, the San Francisco Chronicle sports writer looks at the inner workings of what it takes to make a champion in the physically trying and emotionally crippling worlds of gymnastics and figure skating. If you find yourself in wonder every year at the 16-year-old on your television set performing feats of mental and physical wonder, then this is a must-read for you.
Like all stories, this one must come to an end. Thanks for watching, and keep reading, Texans. With NHS TV Sports, I'm Glenn Higginbotham. Ring the bell, Texans.